Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Unlimited Railworks, Video Game Choo Choo. It's our anime podcast. I'm your host Rose. I have a normal microphone, so I'll sound normal now, which is nice.
That is nice.
Because it was quite bad, and I'm really sorry for that. But it's all good now. With me, as always, is John, as you just heard.
Yeah, hi, I'm here. I'm chatting. I'm ready to hang out with you, Rose.
Hell yeah. So is Maverick.
We tempted fate last episode, folks. Last episode, I specifically said that there was only one season left of Attack on Titan. And guess what happens? Just days after...
I really felt the same.
Just
day after. Yeah, I was thinking that.
Day after we
You
released
knock
that.
on wood.
Part 3
Oh, man.
Of the final season.
of the final season.
Wait, wait, there was already 2 parts.
Yes.
No, we gotta make sure that Aaron says more slurs. We gotta make sure that Armin is completely justified in whatever war crime he's gonna commit.
Fucking insane. I was genuinely blown away.
We gotta
when I
make
checked the
more
day after.
weird suggestions about Hanji Zoe's gender that are really weird given the way that everything else is kind of set up in that show, and there's nothing else that really is a point of conversation about gender in regards to this militaristic society.
Well, let me tell you, being on Tumblr when that show aired as a young teen, they fucking loved that. And that's really what it felt like.
I mean, there was
just felt like
there was a different naive
grasping.
There was a different naive lens to it when you put characters in maid costumes, and then people are like, "Oh, it's fine," you know. And it's not. It's not. God, maid Lovey.
But yeah, no, I'm
That
here.
was a different time.
That's Elvie talking
Yeah,
also, who I forgot to
I had a
introduce.
brief
Hi, Elvie.
flashback. Hello. Excited
Yeah.
for Superior Mike Rose here. And hopefully it won't be an issue for anyone who's going to be working on this episode. So I'm glad you're back. You're back technically. I mean, you were back. You've
Thankfully,
been back.
I've been back, but yes, thankfully I edited that episode, so the only one who had to
No one else
suffer
had to
was
deal with
me and the listeners, but now everything's A-okay. What was I going to say? Something, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Attack on Titan fucking sucks.
It sure does.
I really, so they just didn't finish the story in this final season part
I
2?
don't get how-
Is that what happened?
is going
or
on
are
with
they
that
doing
pacing?
extra content to explain things? I didn't check, but I've been wondering
I
that.
have a
None
feeling.
of you probably know.
No, I don't. I try to
Why
avoid
the
it.
hell would I know?
I have a feeling they did not finish it. I have a feeling there's something going on with the pacing where it is being stretched out, whether unintentionally or intentionally. Because me personally, knowing the ending, I think there would have been like an uproar over that. Whether it's like, any Twitter would not be safe if the actual ending of that series, was actually seen by people, but it was seen by the masses. So
Especially
no, I don't think it
because
ended.
It's coming out like fall of next year. So
Oh god, we have to do it another year. Okay.
it definitely
all right,
feels like
all right.
something that was ordered in advance or ordered after a lot of other things have already been put into production. Especially at Mappa, because fucking
Yeah, they got so
the
much stuff.
studio, the proverbial
got too
camel
much
that has
stuff
yet
on
to
their
have
plate.
its back broken.
It's bad.
Uh,
It's bad.
It's bad. Don't watch an anime called Attack on Titan.
Finally, someone says
And then
it.
he went into the basement
I feel like
and
a
I was
lot
like,
of people have been
"Yo."
saying it. I feel like the thing that gets me about it is how, so many people have told people that Attack on Titan sucks, and then people are just like, it's the one anime I watch. And it's like, why? you could be watching something good.
Because
Right, like
it's-
I feel like again, made lovey flashback, but like looking back, like when the series debuted, the height of the manga, like the height of its craze early on, I feel like even people back then who were huge followers of it or like huge defenders of it over time just kind of slowly stopped talking about it, and in a
Became
way of like not
disinterested.
oh yeah, and like no, and I think like anyone who has dropped the show or who has had kind of like less of a passionate opposition to the show compared to us, as we were talking about this now, they never publicly declared it. I think there's some sort of weird embarrassment to to admit like something you've been dedicated to for a long while is like regret, like has issues. It has probably had inherently had issues from the very beginning, unless that it regressed. But like, no, there always was some sort of problem with it under the surface that you never thought about at that point in time. Because I think about it, and like, the show like aired. No, I'm sorry, I keep saying air, but like the show was at its height around like end of high school, beginning of college for me. So it's like, okay, so there's so many people who hopped on this show during very tumultuous teen years. This very much could have been like a lot of people's very first quote unquote edgy, mature anime. And it's just one of those things, it's just like, okay, I just not willing to admit like, okay, I consume something that's not good. So I'm gonna either silently resign and not speak of it again. And you put up your cosplay items in your Depop shop or clearance or whatever, or on eBay. You don't tell anyone, but you're just and
you see people like
or you keep
recommending
going.
it normally.
Oh yeah, you keep going because you don't want to admit that.
Yeah.
I mean, hell,
I
I distinctly remember I followed it up until like episode 20 something of that first run because I just got bored with it. This was also at a time that I was watching the fucking Walking Dead, and I think it's just like
there's a correlation there.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it is an anime that very closely follows the conventions of prestige television, I would say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was gonna say that,
and that's why so many people latched onto it because it's like, oh, I can wear this with my fucking Game of Thrones shit and my Walking Dead shit. And then when you start to realize that a lot of those things also eventually, like, I'll admit it, there was a time that The Walking Dead was interesting. I know a lot of people who will look back and say that Game of Thrones overall was a very fun experience for them. And I'm not gonna argue that. I'm not gonna argue the prestige of prestige television, because there's definitely ups and downs in that whole market as well. But looking at Attack on Titan, it was a show that definitely started at a specific moment, and then it's just been trying to catch up to that hype, and it's never been able to. And alongside that, there's just so much fascist bullshit in there that it's like, bro, even like losing any of that momentum is when you start to feel the gaps, and you're like, all right, hold up.
Yeah. Well, that was our quarterly fucking hate Attack on Titan segment. Unfortunately, the segment will continue. We thought we were free, but
if you pay us enough money on Patreon.
Don't promise anything that we can't give them. We're gonna keep talking.
I cannot make any promises.
But yeah, broadly speaking of better anime, we've all been watching. I want to talk to you about something, LV. I have not watched it yet, but I have read what happens in it, and it has discouraged me from watching it as someone who played the game. What do you have to say about Magiricord's ending? Was it 4 episodes? Was that what it was?
Yeah, it's okay.
8?
So if one recalls, like, as we, last time we were talking about Magiricord, and just pondering over the strange the way they paced out the seasons. Like, again, strange that we have a first season with, like, you know, a solid 12 to 13 episodes, right? I don't remember exactly, or 11.
Yeah.
And then for some reason they decide to make season 2 4 to 5 episodes. Same thing with season 3, 4 to 5 episodes. I don't know what's going on there. Very strange. And I think there definitely was some sort of meditated choice to do that, where, you know, once you see the ending, you're like, oh, I see. They probably did that because tonally it's very different from season 2, which, again, this should have all been just season 2. It's very tonally different from, like, I guess my way to make it less confusing is first half of the ending to the second half of the ending. Okay, and yeah, it totally feels very different from what you think is going to happen in the first half of this ending season. So I feel like if you cut it off, you can pretend it didn't happen, in a way, right? You know, and you know, as I'm talking about this, Magic Record it has been all put out there. It's ended. It has ended technically. They pretty much just vomited all out with episodes at the beginning of the spring season. Like, you know, arguably, like, does it count as the previous season? I don't know. And, you know, I'm gonna talk about this ending. I'm gonna spoil it. So FYI. And from my understanding, as someone who's not played the game, who's not played the app, I'm very loose familiarity with I guess the trajectory of the story of the mobile game, which my understanding, that too, like, its main story's ended as well, or at least there was some sort of, like, main storyline ending that it's like, oh, okay, this is it, and if the game is still live, you know, there's other things going on, right? And they decided to go with a complete downer ending for this anime adaptation of that game, whereas the game ending is actually not. It's actually not. It's actually an otherwise pretty straightforward, good ending. I don't know, not good in the sense of quality, but, like, a happy ending. Like, it's something that is completely at odds with, like, how people may box in what the Madoka franchise is. And it's very interesting to me that they decided instead for Magia Records anime that you know what, people like box this show and saying, like, oh, it's, you know, an edgy magical, and we're gonna just do that. We're just gonna meet the stereotypes people make about this show, and we're just gonna do that.
And I think there's multiple reasons for this. Like, the first one is so Shaft's made a lot of adaptational differences with this seasoning, but with season 1, it was just flat out better consistently than how the start of the game played. However, that's kind of inherent to all gacha games, is the beginning is pretty bad, and then they hit their stride, they figure out the episodic format they want to go for. But this is, like, it's insane that it's like, then they adapted it, and the part of the game that's really good, the original ending is very, like, focused on this communalized aspect. The entire premise of Magia Record is the idea that they figured out how to cure magical girls dying, basically. So they basically, like, destroy the entire system of it. And even at the ending of that, when they finish it, they are still on that. They're like, this is our goal. We want to make sure that this spreads beyond just this city. We want to make it better for everyone else in the world, basically. That doesn't seem to be the case from what I've heard of the show at all.
Yep.
And, like, everyone dies. I think it's just because the new Madoka's movie's coming out, and they were just like, well...
Yeah, there was... What I got from it is there was some sort of sense of spite, plus... that when it ends, you know, I guess let me start from the beginning of, like, at least like, go into more details about the sequence of events that happened. So yeah, it's a bummer because I really enjoyed the first season, again, as someone who's not even familiar with the game, but the first season was very much built up this wonderful, like, here's this community of, like, girls hanging out and working together to kind of, like, support each other in, like, these dire circumstances, and they realize, oh my gosh, there's, like, this fucked up, like, bigger issue that we gotta try to work together to stop. And, you know, again, the first half of this ending season, it's, like, building up to that. It's like, oh man, all these stakes are happening. mommy's Catholic. We got to stop her. We got to stop the Pope. As I would word it.
I really like
It's just
Catholic
insane.
Mommy a lot. She was the Christmas character, but like the main story was happening at the same time, so they were just like,
Yeah.
I think we can angle this both ways.
Yeah, and I guess like to go into what you were saying, where like those slight changes in addition to tying some of the more the Madoka characters more. I agree. There must be something that they're doing to tie it into the upcoming movie, whatever new thing that's going to explore. Like, is it like, is this canon? Is this going to like change up some of the things like that has been established already with the previous movies? Is there all these questions? But yeah, essentially it's right. They don't get, so weird to say. They don't actually kill everyone off, but they kill a lot of people. They just kill a lot of people.
Yeah, just a lot.
They kill a lot of people off for no reason. Like, it just made no sense. Like, I don't know. I legitimately, like, one of the girls just dies from exhaustion, which to me was just like, okay. And then they have this whole scene where they're ghost for a bit, like, and try to inspire one of the surviving girls, and it's futile. They all just failed. Like, it was just it was like, I'm sorry, I'm like laughing at it, but it was just baffling. It was
No,
like, it was
yeah.
just like a car crash. It just kept going. The car's still running. The collision already happened, but the car's still going. It was very strange. And to the extent too where I felt like in doing all of that, it's like, why did you also kill all these characters where I wasn't even that fully attached
Aware
to
of
either?
them?
Yeah.
Or like,
yeah. And that was kind of also the other problem where I was like, oh, okay, I was thinking like this season would be dedicated to at least fleshing out more of those characters or like going into them more. And the, so to speak, quote unquote, real antagonist of this series wasn't that well developed. I mean, she's like great. She has like a great presence every time she's in, but I still don't quite get what she was doing. It's a little confusing. We didn't really linger on her enough to kind of understand things. And as to like, why in the world is she just going to destroy this whole,
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just insane. Like it ends with the surviving girls going through this ruined city. Cause also kind of funny, kind of cool that they acknowledge, yes, there is collateral damage from like everything that was happening, which again, like a lot, people often point that out in like a lot of these superhero movies, etc. Like no one, like, why do they not talk about that? That's like insane. And they actually did here. They actually outright showed the collateral damage of all the shit that happened towards the end, where like, yeah, the city's all fucked up and destroyed. Yeah, like I said, the surviving girls are just like walking through this ruined, messed up city. It's not clear what they're gonna do next. Like, it makes no sense. And ultimately after the credits, post-credit scene, look at that. There's a shot of a god Madoka just closing a book on the Magia Record, which apparently is the title explainer for this series, which might be different compared to what the game does. Magia Record in this anime, it refers to a book or some sort of specter that God Madoka is looking into. And being like, man, it's just wow.
Yeah.
It's just wow.
In the game,
it's a music thing.
Was
right?
Yeah, they were like, what she has to manage everything, and it's just like she compares it to all these different records going, and then there's this one record that's like, what the hell? This isn't the right. But you know what? As long as I don't interfere, it can be fine or whatever. Like, that's how it was.
This shit don't
I imagine
slap.
they were.
I better not remix
Yeah.
it.
It's just like, I think it really screams that they removed her for the sake of, the movie's going to be about her, so we don't want to confuse anyone, right? Like, we don't want to get involved in all that. But it's really frustrating to see how, I think the game itself comes from a place where it's written by every writer from the show except for Urabuchi.
I was gonna say,
and I think that, you can really tell because it's about the more lived traumas rather than a bombastic like death or like anything like that. Like, I know that the whole premise of Magic Record is she wants to figure out what happened to her sister, right? That only she can remember her. In the game, she saves her sister, and then they go into like the the issues later throughout the
Right.
stories, like what happened with her sister, how did they explain
Right.
this, how did they
And
do all
it-
these
and
things,
the-
what did they do for these
and what the show
sick characters.
Yeah, and what the show did, I think the unveiling of that twist was very cool, but then how it just but then it's all for nothing. It kind of it kind of fizzles out where she
Yeah.
ends up failing. She fails to save her sister, which was like, okay, so now what? And then and then it ends with the whole like end times thing. But like, yeah, all these characters who like were working so hard for a particular goal, like, basically, I would call these characters like survivors in a way, right? From all their different experiences,
Yeah.
right? It just became all for naught for like no reason. And it
Yeah,
didn't need
and
to
that's
be.
the problem, because the core narrative of the original game was that point. Every character is like a survivor of something,
Yeah.
and they are finding their way
Right.
together.
Yeah.
And like the whole notion of the original Madoka having Purgisnak be this big bombastic thing that only Homura is ever the one fighting against. It's only
Yeah.
ever her or whatever, right?
Right.
And then here it's like, no, all of these people worked together and they dealt with
Right.
it. In the game, they do the very like Nier Automata type
Mm-hmm.
ending type thing where it's like other players, but it's just like the core message of that is this idea of persisting, of surviving, of growing past.
Right.
And then it's just like to see this like, oh, you know what? Actually, I think I'm just gonna kill half of these girls. Is this like?
Well, they remembered
Yeah.
that. They remembered being Maguka is suffering.
Yeah, that's Shaft's specialty. If it
They're
wasn't a Shaft, well, Shaft worked on the game too because Shaft did all the animations for the magical girl transformations when you pull them
Awesome.
or whatever.
That's awesome.
Which it looks really. If you ever have time and are bored and
Just
like
want to watch
Madoka,
compilation clips of
yeah, look those up because it's like the Sayaka ones are pretty. Like all of the original Madoka characters have a really good gimmick that they draw where it's like it is them as like an adult and then they're getting like pulled away. The adult self is being pulled
Oh,
away
that's
because of the
interesting.
nature of the and then they get then they do the transformation. I thought that was really good.
But yeah, it was wow. Yeah, it was just a
Yeah,
bummer.
I don't know what they were doing. It's
I've
just
never
weird.
noticed.
It's really
Yeah, there was
weird
like a
to
little
do
clip
that.
too of like you see Homer travel back to the time realm. It was like, oh, okay. Are they
Yeah.
gonna do something? Okay, all right. It would very much try to end on the pretense of like, this is just one version of the events you've seen, but then it's still like. It's still like, first of all, the issue of like, right, the North American server of the game is not accessible anymore. It just does not exist. And then like, come on, I don't know. That was it was just such a cop out. Like I don't and again it goes back to like, are they just did they just do this because it might connect to something else in the long run, where they're just gonna resurface again what people are more familiar with, which was the original Madoka cast in that story. So it's like, man, it didn't. It just gave the potential of something like this a disservice, Specifically, again, what I thought was a very strong first season that had a lot of hope in it, had a lot of like optimistic like foreshadowing. I felt towards like, oh, okay, there's like a build up to something there, and it's just like, man, they had to end on like such a bummer, and such an open ended bummer specifically. Yeah.
The thing that was really getting me is Alina Gray, right?
Yeah.
The green hair girl.
Yeah.
She,
Her. She was.
throughout the
I felt like she was not developed like enough, or like I don't quite understand what was going on with her.
The thing that was really getting me as someone who really likes her character, is that in the game she has this little like Halloween magical girl who's like has no idea that she's like this twisted evil woman doing things or whatever, and it really grounds her and gives her this like other side that you can see to her or whatever. And like really conveys the world. And the little witch girl is in the anime, like in a post-credit scene, but it's like, who would know who that is?
Right.
Because she's not in the anime series.
Right.
Like, and they just completely left that out.
Yeah,
It's just like,
there was an inverse problem too, where the anime, from my understanding, and I understand, like they made a character that was original to the anime, and they did nothing with her.
Yeah, Kuro.
Only for her, and there was some weird things with her that seemed very special. Like what is going? She has some weird exceptions about her, like compared to the other magical girls, and like. They don't do anything with it, only for her to turn into a witch at the end anyway. And it was like, okay. Like, they had a little moment showing her like a little flashback of her doing with, like, a different character who was basically, like, an opposite color palette of her, which was funny. But, like, yeah, they just did nothing with her. It was like, what? Just ended on a lot of confusing notes, ended on a lot of bummer notes. Ah.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing over there.
What was
it's just
going
baffling.
on?
I thought it was such like when I played the game, I thought it was such a refreshing like differential from the original series to like, and I'm like a big Rebellion liker, right? Like
Yeah.
I fucking love Rebellion. I think like that sense of misery is much more interesting than what they were doing before. But this was like the whole point of this was to not be miserable, and then they just had to do it anyway. Ugh. You hate to see it. You know what's not miserable? Kaguya-sama Love is War, which is just continued its stride. It's like it never left, just all over again. I remember when we said this last time. But goddamn, it really is the same. What do you think of that, John?
It's great. Back in the saddle once again. Just fantastic character interactions. We're getting, all kinds of stuff that you wouldn't really expect. Like I'm digging that they I'm digging that they actually are like having different characters interact that maybe didn't do that at all like in the past. Like in the most recent episode, they kind of go back to Hayasaka and the president, how they kind of had like a weird meeting in the last season, like how she was like spying on him for Kaguya, and there's a lot going on there. A lot of very, very hilarious, very exciting stuff going on. I'm just having a lot of fun still with it. It's good that we have something to make us forget the horrors, but it's here. It's back. Kaguya-sama's back.
I thought, here's what I'll say also. The new opening has continued to just be the same bit, and I appreciate the bit, but I feel like this is probably the worst of the three.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It definitely feels. This is the one. Like the second one had the second one could have been this. It could have been phoned in, like, but it felt iterative on the style in a way that, sure, it wasn't as good, but it was still like compelling and worked. And then this one, it works. Don't get me wrong, but it's very much like you felt like you had to do it. Like.
Well,
That's what it
the
feels
second
like to
one
me.
at least provides a story. Like the whole thing is like, oh,
Yeah.
this little narrative of Kaguya-sama is going to give Shirogane a little lunchbox because like she made it, and then just following that, a condensed episode to start off the rest of the show. Easy way to, well, still like you still have to get the spirit of the show in a minute and 30 seconds, but it's at least going to be effective. Here, it's more introduction to characters, and then just a lot of very well done, like, visual layout. But also, it definitely leaves something somewhat lacking. And especially, like, they definitely do have a specified voice by having the same artist do all these, like having Masayuki Suzuki do a third song for them, that was inevitable. I wasn't gonna doubt that part, but definitely is kind of just whatever. But the fucking ending though, oh my god,
Yeah.
they do a full-on Starship Troopers parody for their ending.
I haven't seen this, but goodness me. Okay, I'm gonna look this up
it's
now.
very
while you keep
good.
talking.
Like it's set up in this like you just have these very beautifully done shots of like Shirogane is like a farmer, and then he goes to enlist. Hayasaka's there, and she gives like this. It's like they wanted to this like DreamWorks ass smile, or like a. I'm not gonna like a very like movie actor kind of smile where it's like you're gonna be all right here, and then just full on like we're on the planet, bugs are attacking us. Kaguya is like this god or whatever, and Shirogane is reaching out to her, and it's like a very well done parody of everything. There's also this very good bit where Fujiwara like is wearing a bald cap the entire time, and once like Shirogane and Shinomiya are like in that embrace or whatever, it like cuts back to her with Ishigami and Hayasaka, and she just like starts taking off the bald cap. It's like a very well done little segment, and then it just cuts to whole end of that is just like a Shirogane daydream, I guess, but it's him with Kaguya in like fucking street clothes, and I'm like, yo, this is the hardest I've pugged so far about this show because I like that as a possibility.
I just saw that. Yeah, I just watched it all. That's very good.
I'm surprised I was able to talk through the ED like that. But no, like I'm so glad that it's still able to keep up the writing consistency, because with a comedy like this, it is so easy to mess up that flow after a while. Like, Science fell in love, so I tried to study it or whatever. Has the second season out this season as well. I honestly don't know what the level of that is going to be, because I kind of dipped out of the first season too, because I'm going to just like
Me as well.
Not too sure about this.
No, that's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah,
I think it's like cute, but it's like I get
It's
like I'll never be like laughing.
Oh,
again,
yeah.
you know, like that type of vibe.
It's absolutely like one joke stretched out.
yeah. Whereas,
Yeah, I think
God, like the ending of the first episode, where the whole last segment is Ishigama going minor sexism moments. I love him. He's a little shit. I'm not gonna my Discord king, my Discord loving king. The face of someone who recognizes line's okay, but Discord's kind of better, and everyone shuts him out.
it's true. I would do that.
Gets emasculated by Fujiwara, and then that leads into a whole arm wrestling competition. End of the segment, it's Fujiwara versus Ishigami. You see the beginning of it, cut to the credits that showcase the opening, cut back to that scene, Ishigami gets her ASAP, and it's just like this great burst of chaos right into a hard cut at the end of the episode. Like, the comedic timing is so spot on, and I'm really glad that it keeps it going.
I think, like, I was talking about this with my girlfriend, but I think that the successes of Kaguya come from a thing that I complain about with all romance stuff is how insane they act all the time, right? And how, like, there's this, like, fixation on getting into a relationship is the end goal or whatever, right, of the series. And then everyone's just being insane the whole time, but it's treated as normal in most shows. But, like, here, I think it succeeds so well because, like, they're like, no, we know these people are insane. I want to make that clear. Like they are insane people, and that's how they tell the story.
Yeah, like I think they do a really good job of highlighting like romance and love makes us all do very silly, very stupid things, and it's like, yeah, let's just extend this to like how everyone is, you know, like.
But I think like the way that they focus on like how neurotic those two specifically are compared to like everyone else, because there's that normal couple who's already dating, right, and then everyone like Hayasaka's like, what the hell's wrong with them all the time?
Because it's also like a very good satire of just like higher echelons of society or whatever. We're literally like it is. I'm glad that in the first season they definitely pinpointed on that a lot as like the establishing thing, like. Here in this upper society, to confess your love is the first admission of defeat or whatever. They're doing less telling, and it's just immediately showing at this point, because everyone else has kind of become more normal. Like, Ishigami is an asshole, but to an extent where, hell, he had that whole arc in the second season where he at least got like, it makes sense. And you at least recognize more people as people. Really well done set of events there. Fujiwara is an asshole in a way that is very, like, it's just very smart.
It's standard. Yeah, like I think like it makes sense for her to be like that. Like that is a type of person, you know?
Yeah.
Like
no, that is such a type of person. Like everyone has all these multiple layers to each other. Everyone does. But also it's the fact that of everybody there, Shinomiya and Shirogane are the two people that are so, like, entrenched in this idea that I have to be this specific kind of way, that everyone else is starting to just be like, all right, yeah, like, keep it going, aside from Ino, who's also just a complete idiot in a the way that freshmen are, the way that impressionable freshmen are when they have to work in a student council with their seniors. Like, it just all works.
Yeah, it all works really well. Not to go back too far, but like I think that the thing that you say about it could have just been the one bit in it, but it's not, is something that I think some other successful shows and unsuccessful shows that we'll talk about later, like that's kind of a big thing in comedy series, is do you dedicate yourself fully like your boy Kongming, or are you like, I'm going to just keep making this joke over and over again, like a show none of us watched. I'm assuming if you did, it's fine, but the one where it's like the evil healer girl or whatever, right?
Oh, another like dark skin fetish
season.
show. That one.
Yeah, that one. Isn't it great? Don't you love to see it?
I mean, hey, love representation in my anime.
Yeah. Do you like for it to always be a specific role?
I love to have I love to have people in my anime that are just nondescriptly tan. I love it when a character is just tan.
Was that in lowercase or uppercase letters?
More like a bold.
With space in between.
Brackets with the bold.
Yeah, okay.
Trapped in another world. Oh, I'm not gonna make that joke.
You need a little more reverb.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, give me a Vine boom every time I say tan.
But yeah, there's just a lot of series out there where I'm trying to think of what's a good example from the past even that we've talked about, but like it just feels like at a certain point it's like, so you had enough for a draft to this magazine, you had enough for a pitch, and then they accepted you and you're like, all right, that's my story. Right? Like it's just going to be this over and over again.
Like, cool, you gave us your tight 5, but can you handle a headliner? Do you think that your good tight 5 is gonna lead you to an hour-long special? Because those are two very disparate things.
Mm-hmm. John, I was going to ask, so you Demon Girl Next Door, how much of this have you seen?
Like 2 or 3 episodes.
Okay. What do you think? I'm on season 2, which has just started this season.
You've been kept up with it. Wheels is the one who put me onto this. Wheels apparently fucking loves this show, so
yes, we're allies in this.
Yes, as you are in many things. I did check it out. It's very funny. It's very, very funny. I have such a hard time talking about comedy because I just want to go like, oh, it made me laugh.
Yeah, I get you.
It is very funny though. It's very fun. The it's just mostly little jokes about the character, about the main girl being very much a complete and total mess.
Unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. Yes, very unfortunate girl. But it keeps itself going. It keeps itself having fun. And so I definitely appreciate what I saw.
The thing about that series is I was going to say the same thing that I said for Kaguya, where it's like it just keeps going, basically, for season 2, where season 2 picks up, because it picks up literally right where season 1 ends, and it just keeps going like it never stopped. Which is something I really appreciate, because with that show in particular, I think it's good the whole time, but I think it really finds its stride and consistency after like the first 6 episodes or so. Where they start to really cement like, okay, we're done introducing all these concepts to an extent. Now we can just start having these characters like relationship bounce off of each other. And it works really well. And it's continuous with as they introduce more characters in season 2. Like it really is. It's an anime where if you want to see a short queen suffer, I think to an extent, but not if you're like a sicko, right? Like it's not like, wow, that was. I'm like, I want to see her in pain. It's like you just want to see her like do something really embarrassing accidentally, or do you want to see her spend all of her money on soda, and then have to find a way home, stuff like that. Just like it's cutesy. It's cutesy.
It's very cute. Yes,
is what it comes down to, I think. But yeah, I've been very glad that I cannot believe that got a season 2. I think when season 2 got announced, me and Wheels were like blown away because it's not a high budget series, you know.
No.
They put work into it.
it's simple.
That was something with Kaguya that I was thinking is like how they've managed to keep going with that level of quality that they had for the first 2 seasons. Just the way that they play with the animation and everything, I think is really successful, and Machikado does its best with that. But it's very clear, like, you know, that they're not operating on like a crazy high a budgetary level.
Yes.
But it's cute, and we need more stuff like this. I think I would love to see more stuff like this. The Hattori Bochis, you know. That's what I always think of when I think of this, Hattori Bochi. Because they operate a very similar space of like these simplistic gag manga, basically, with like a specific concept, but they really go with it. They really go with it.
I had also watched
which
those
I think...
first 2 episodes, and
oh, you did too? Yeah.
I think from what I can tell so far, a lot of the way that the comedy works surprisingly well, and I want to watch more to see if this holds up. It's the fact that Momo, the magical girl, is just miles ahead of where our demon girl protagonist is, and so like it is very much a Bugs Bunny to Daffy Duck dynamic, and also, like, if Bugs was gayer about it. In a way where it's like, it worked. Like, God, that episode where it's like, oh, you want to train, right? Well, I mean, we might as well run these miles, because you probably got to get more into it. It's such a nonchalant nudging, especially for someone so hot-headed that, like, of course they're going to follow along with it. And so... I like that a lot of the comedy is just, you know exactly the moment that you start thinking exactly where Momo is, that's where the show wants you to be at, and then the result is ultimately just going like, all right, we're gonna see where this goes. We're gonna see how, like, already knowing what the bit more or less is gonna be, and just expecting the payoff of it, which is a very good blend of anticipation.
I think as it continues to go, they find more to explore. And definitely as Momo's character develops and it becomes much more like, oh, fuck, I'm gay type thing. It works really well.
Also, shout out to the dub.
Like, I think... oh, yeah?
For casting Bien Fu as the fucking demon girl.
Oh, my God. I didn't know that.
It's literally, like, seconds in during the first yelling, I'm like... Oh, I've heard this motherfucker before.
You're fine with hearing the suffering if it's from this voice.
Yeah, no, I'm half expecting Yoshida to just go Bien after being tormented. Once again, tormented by a pink lady.
That's true. That's so sad. Imagine being typecast as someone getting tormented by a pink woman.
It's such a very specific typecast.
This is my hole. It was made for
Someone's got to do it. For all of us at home.
I'm saluting.
Salute our fallen soldiers.
We honor
Eyes
real
watering
heroes
up.
in this podcast.
So I will talk about the show that I really want to talk about after this real quick, but I wanted to say, so my book Isekai is back, right? Ascendance of a Bookworm. And they did 2 different full-length recap episodes because it's been like a year and a half, I think, since the last season. And I've never seen a show do 2 recaps. But it was pretty slow, pretty easygoing. But the first episode came out, and immediately she basically went up and was like, "Hey, how do you make? Is your ink oil based?" to like a shopkeeper or something, and the shopkeeper was like, "The hell are you talking about?" And she was just like, "Well, you make your normal inks out of like plants, right?" And they like the dude got like super pissed. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing? You don't say that shit out loud. Like, what's wrong with you?" And this has led into this that she has to hide at the church, the main character, because the ink guild is apparently the mafia of this world, and they're very mad that she's trying to break guild secrets. Right? She's trying to sell this. Sorry, a plane's going over.
Very cinematic.
She's trying to. Yeah, she's trying to sell this, or she's trying to make her own oil-based ink, right?
Yeah.
So then they just get really mad, and then they're like they're gonna fucking get her ass. So she has to hide at the church because it's a,
Fucking
it's a
inkers.
distinct political ink.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's really funny because the head of the ink guild is like this big muscle guy, and he's like, "Oh, we'll get her.
I mean,
don't
does
worry."
it relates though back to like the whole thing of like the society's withholding literacy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just goes back to that.
Because
And
it's a
like,
religious society.
yeah, and like ink is probably like legitimately rare and precious to produce, whatever, or
But it's not that. It's
Oh.
the artificial, right? That's what it's getting into, is because of the nature
Oh,
of
why?
like, well, books are for nobility,
Right.
and
Yeah.
these have to be specific things. Like someone even says to her, because she's already made a book at this point, they're like, "No, that's not a real book. A real book has a leather
Right.
cover
Gatekeeping,
with
yeah.
diamond encrusted, whatever."
yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, I think I'm interested to see where this season goes specifically, because this notion of like exploring more and more, like the first book she made, first of all, is like basically Veggie Tales
Yeah.
to an extent. Like it is. She made like little characters to explain the Bible of this
An
world,
illustrated Bible for
basically.
children. Yeah, great.
And I think like with the way that this is set up, like I'm very interested to see how, because I know that this is part 2 of the story now. This season starts part 2, and there's 3 parts to the books or something, and they each have like a different focus. So like the first part was just like, hey, she's a kid,
Setting
and
up.
what is the society like? And then part 2, they've established now like that there's like people fighting,
There is danger.
giant monsters
Yeah.
and stuff like out there and stuff, but like in a really, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I'm really curious to see where part 2 will go, and like what the ultimate like thesis of this is, because I thought it was interesting to explore like, hey, like this is what the class divide realistically was like in the Middle Ages. Like this is the type of stuff. They had a society. It wasn't just people in like little hamlets dying. There were apartment buildings, basically, like stuff like this. Like really discussing like what it would be like to live in this period. And then I want to see how that goes with them being like, and how do you like deal with religion as the government? And where that goes. And I think it has its head on straight with just at least expressing that like all the main antagonists that have been like against anything have been old people, have been old people just in general, like anyone over the age of like 50. And then anyone else is very much like, no, we're just doing this because that old guy's making us do it, which is, society. We live in a society.
Yeah, when you're talking about the ink mafia, that's funny. But also,
Yeah.
just such something about that. Just the image of it. I have no idea what they look like. You did say one guy looks, but
they're just like big guy. Yeah, it looks like a big guy like wearing normal peasant clothes or
like,
whatever.
oh,
He's like, oh, again.
A stash somewhere. No, but that did remind me, like, similarly, how Witch Hat Atelier is an anime adaptation, apparently.
Yeah, it is.
And that's exciting. For anyone who doesn't know, like, it very much kind of does explore similar themes where magic in this case is kind of like the stand-in for reading. In the first volume, I'm not spoiling anything, and I'm not that caught up actually with like what I have to catch up. Actually, I don't know what's going on recently, but it already opens up saying, hey, this is a world of magic. And the main character who like, oh, I always wanted to do magic, and then her mom who like, again, they're like working class people. She's very much focused like, no, we gotta do what we gotta do to survive, etc. Stop getting these silly ideas out of her head. And despite that, she's very like fascinated by that world. I want to be a magic user. How does that happen? I wish, and like the way society treats it is that like, people will have to inherit that. It's like a genetic thing. You can't just do magic. Like, yeah, it has to be something that you inherited. But then she quickly finds out, no, that's not the case. Like, some sort of accident catalyzes her finding it out, and then that's now how she's gotten into that world, trying to learn magic and being apprenticed by someone, right? And, like, working with these other girls. And essentially, magic is done through, like, calligraphy, through writing these glyphs. And it's a whole thing where they already explain, again, all within the beginning of the story, like, yeah, they withheld knowledge of magic from, like, society for several generations to the point where people would forget where magic originally came from or how it's done because of, again, the whole issue of fears that the masses will abuse it. And, like leadership citing, like, hey, people, like, have committed atrocities because of magic or have done things taboo because of magic. So, like, we should take it away from people because we don't trust them. So again, similarly, I quite like when I've been hearing about Buki Isekai, even though like I don't think I honestly will go back into it personally. I don't know, just because it's like at a point where it's like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be really long, huh? But I'm glad to hear good things about it. Where it's trying to explore those similar conversations over like withholding the truth and knowledge, and the balance of like trusting the masses with like, hey, good thing, even though horrible things can come out, there's gonna be bad people that will take advantage of this stuff. But then also it's like holding back progress. It's holding back good things, right? I quite like that. I quite like that. Yeah, so far it's still consistent with it being different, and it's not falling into the tropes again of like the issue of what Isekai has been doing. And again, just from the basic premise of it being Isekai, like her role being from a different world and her remembering who she was like is still relevant. Like that's important. That's like a big thing that like immediately tons of titles just make a misstep and just for some reason begs the question of like, why is this an isekai? Like, why? Unless it's of course for the other issue, or like, oh, them being from Earth, or like them being a human, it ties into them being prodigal, or like makes them superpowered for no reason. It's like that at that point, that's pure fantasy escapist, drivel. But glad to hear that there's this seems to be like building up to something like actually thought out. I'm excited to hear if she force holds someone like force chokes someone.
I know they showed when they showed that in the recap, I was popping off all over again when she force chokes that old man. Like that was such a moment of like, man, what the fuck is going on? Like
the boomer's time is up.
Easygoing.
Like, she's coming.
But I think both of these seasons have actually done something similar, where it's like they do a good job of like progressing to the next stage of things by like having a big thing happen that you don't expect to happen like that. Like for the first one, she's like just doing yet another gambit or whatever, and then like they're kill. Like, oh, I hate poor people, but she might kill. And then like the second one establishing like, oh, there are knights who like actually do stuff in this world, and like there's a reason for like the religion and stuff and why people believe in it.
Right, it seems like a good progression of world building too. It's just not vomiting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it doesn't feel like,
because why would she have known right about like all of this stuff?
Right, and then the way you describe it, it definitely seems like whenever they introduce something new, it feels natural. It doesn't feel like it came out of nowhere. It's like, oh, we got a new site. Like, no, it feels very much like we are discovering things with this girl, because like she's also a child, and like that's kind of justifying why she's not yet like in constant turmoil yet, like again because like of her appearance being a child, but also like to both her advantage and disadvantage. So like that's again that's pretty cool. I'm glad that I'm also hearing from other people who again like don't like who again also totally repulsed by isekai or like don't even watch anime that much, that they're into this series too, and that's like cool to hear.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. Because it's just well made. Like it's like the same thing I say with Log Horizon. It's like people like things that actually care about their subject matter. I think like
oh, this writer knows what they're talking about, so they're writing.
Yeah, exactly. So they're going off like they know. Like how hard would it be to make a pizza in England in the 14th century? Well, let's find out. Like yeah, it's great. I'm so glad to have it back because I have been in the isekai dredges the last couple years. That this is just like, yes, this is why I can derive some worth from the genre. But yeah, I didn't want to put it off anymore. Who have we all seen your boy Kongming? Have we all seen it?
I have not.
You have not?
I have not.
Wow.
It is something on my list though.
LV, it's so fucking good.
Oh, I'm sure. I can tell. That song, well, it is like, oh.
Everything about it. It's like going into this, I was really expecting, like as we were talking about earlier, a 1-bit thing, right? Like it's just like, but it is a 1-bit thing, but they are so committed to it. They're like, we are going to do everything in service of this bit, and
Right.
it fucking rules. If you haven't seen the series, it's about Kongming. I can never pronounce his other name, but Zhu Lang. Okay, he's in Fate Go. He's Waver in Fate Go for all the Fate heads out there. But he is a Chinese tactician from Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and he gets isekai'd, quote unquote, to an extent to the modern era, and he decides that he is going to help this girl, this young woman, become a famous singer, and it is so insane consistently.
He comes across her singing and he is so enraptured by her singing. He's just like, your voice can save the world. I dreamed of peace through war, but now I see that we can make peace through your music. That is what he says.
Yeah. And it's really good. I don't know. Do you want to talk about this a little, John?
Sure. I mean, so far it has been, again, like you said, pretty one note, but just how strong it plays that note is very effective. I'm sure that if you are a Three Kingdoms nerd, you might get a little bit more out of it. But I think they do
I am to an extent.
But I think they do a good job, like, explaining the different, like, tactics that he used and all the different, like, ways that they go over all the, because they're just, like, taking, like, things that he did in the Three Kingdoms and then, like, putting them into a quote-unquote real-life situation where one of the early ones is they talk about how he used, like, these stone pillars to get an enemy army lost without, like, really creating, like, a full maze, just, like, disorienting them in the desert. And so he does the same thing by setting up Christmas trees in a room and making it so everyone keeps constantly getting lost and, like, walking over to the bathrooms instead of walking to the exit. And so they get
creating fire hazards, breaking fire code.
He sure did do that, but it keeps people in the room long enough to hear her sing, and then they realize that she's good, and then they start following her on Instagram. And it's just it's cute about it. You can't think about it too hard because he's definitely not being
ethical.
He's not being morally sound in this regard. But hey, all's fair.
But he doesn't need to be.
All's fair in love, war, and I guess music marketing.
Dude, listen, the entertainment business overall is a up and down from little I know about it. So, like, way back when we previewed a bunch of the shows happening, just from the description, I had said, this felt like something... this felt like the thing I wanted those Snow White notes to be. Someone from a completely...
Yeah, right, I remember you saying.
Like, a completely separate position, or, like, just a very, like, specific perpendicularity to... That's not a word. But just, like...
I get parallel.
Yeah, the Shibuya nightlife scene and the way that it sort of, like, exists. Just bring this wrench into it and create something completely different. And it's still surprising me overall. But I think it really does still stick to that ethos of just, like... It's very funny to me the way that it's just, like... You know, he shows up because he assumes, like, oh, I guess I'm in hell. I've died and I've gone to hell. He's in fucking the middle of Tokyo on, like, Halloween night. Immediately gets accosted by two guys. It's like, bro, drink this tequila. Like,
He's like, oh, this is a punishment
it's
from
just like,
God.
my throat. I will simply endure my tortures here in hell and find my way down. And then, like, as soon as he meets Eiko and is able, or is still lost that night, Eiko happens upon him after she, like, closes up at the bar she works at. And is like, ah, dude, you're fucking drunk. But then he's just like, oh, that beautiful voice. I can't believe I heard it. And, like, she helps him out. It literally takes 4 hours to get him more or less up to speed. At least with using a smartphone. Because it's like, you know, the box standard, oh, what is this peculiar device? A book that carries so much information within it. And she's like, dude, you want some water? Wow, the outside of this vessel for the water is as hollow as a cicada shell. And she's just like, dude, what the fuck are you on about?
Yeah. And we're still, like, we're, like, 3 episodes in and no one is like, willing to acknowledge that he's, like, on the level still. They're just like, yeah, we just accept that this guy is insane.
Well, the boss is, like, actually the only one, because of the fact that the boss of this
he's
bar...
like, starting to get there, yeah.
The boss of the bar hires him, particularly because he's a huge Three Kingdoms nerd, and is like, alright, so when you executed this one member of your army, why did you do it? And it's like this very, like, heartfelt moment where he's just like, at that moment I needed to do something. It was a careless mistake in the moment of war, and I had to still carry it on because we have a specific code that we wanted to follow or whatever. And just is like, oh, dude, that totally sounds like Kongming. Oh, you're hired.
Yeah, you're cool as hell.
Cut to, like, a fucking other scene in that same episode where Kongming starts talking about, like, something. You literally see the boss run over because he's just like, are you talking about
yeah,
the
you
Three
guys
Kingdoms?
are talking about the Three Kingdoms. Yeah, it rules.
It rules. And it's just like, one, I think it does work that, like, you at least have the presentation of someone, like, you present Kongming in a very positive light as someone that is just very accommodating, wants to get to know people, as is his status as a tactician, someone who likes to gather information and knowledge in order to develop sound strategies for whoever he is serving. But also, you know, surprisingly, there is also, like, just a very specific heart that comes to this show between, you know, Eiko being someone that is very much just like, you know, we learned immediately in that first episode, music is the thing that basically saved her from just taking her own life. And with the help of the boss, literally just being like, dude, come to this show. I'm not going to have you off yourself while I'm out and about, so at least come by and stick around for this. Oh shit, you know, maybe I want to get into this music business. I don't know if this is for me. And Kongming being the person to just sort of be like, I need you to have this confidence. In the third episode, so, you know, the second episode, like, oh, I got booked for this show. I'm right head-to-head with the headliner. I don't think people are gonna come see me. Kongming to the rescue. Episode 3, oh, I'm at this festival now. I didn't realize I was gonna be at a festival, but I'm also playing right across from a very up-and-coming indie band. Kongming to the rescue, and specifically in a way where it's like, nah, like, she's humble. Humility is a good thing, but her sense of self-worth could be better. So hopefully these victories will lead her into that and have more confidence. And it's like, God, everybody needs a Kongming.
Yeah, for real though.
Like,
Just a hype man.
a hype man who also just happens to know the best way to make sure that your career will skyrocket. And also, like, a surprising sense of just... There is a specific level of compassion to the reality that Kongming has found himself in. Where it's like, on his wiki page, he's like, oh, I can just look up the rest of what happened. And it's like, fuck, everybody I knew died. And then we kind of just had more wars after that.
Yeah.
And, you know, cut to Eiko just like sort of singing out, like singing a song. And he's just like, shit, I'm in my feelings right now. And here, like, I don't know, like, the reverse isekai trope right now is so underutilized, but I think it definitely... This shows that there's still a lot of potential for a show like that, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, there's care being... It's, again, clear that they care about the subject matter. They care about, like, the Three Kingdoms stuff in a way that they want to explore it. Like, this isn't just them writing a draft. They have, like, ideas they want to express and feelings and like things they have thought about this specific character. You know, they just they picked a guy to like, basically, and they were like, God, I want everyone to know how cool this guy is.
It's that, and also being just like very aware enough about the way that the music industry can work. Like, by the end of episode 3, it's still like fictionalized in a way, but it's like, oh, we might be seeing like a record label picking up Eiko now, and that's gonna like catapult her in her own way. I'm sure there's also gonna be a discussion about like, oh, you know, what are the pros and cons of being like attached to a label. And I'm sure Kongming's gonna do some cool stuff to make sure she somehow gets the most out of it. Or this past episode, it's like, you know, I noticed that you were using DAWs, and it's like this weird, like, statement about digitized music or something. But then it kind of just loops back around to, like, you know, like, you want to make sure you have your purpose for your music. So, like, I want to make sure you don't lose sight of that. Which, the thing I notice about some music anime is that there's that very weird attachment to what like pure sound is.
Yeah, the purity of it all, definitely.
Yeah, which I at least appreciate that, because we're following a nightlife singer, like a pop artist, basically someone that wants to become a pop artist who is like doing cover songs or is also just like super hyped on EDM. There's a very fun bit where it's like, what is that tittle and tattle that's happening in the background? And she's like, dude, like, come on, I like this stuff. And he's like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I don't know, like, I appreciate that you also get to see Kongming, like, adequately put himself in a position where he wants to learn more.
Definitely. And it's both of them teaching the other as well, but not in like such an overt way. It's very, well, I guess to an extent, it is her driving Kongming's like desire for knowledge, right? Like it's driving his like exploratory nature in this modern era towards something more, not like wholesome, that's the wrong word, but you know, like something more personal.
Yeah, or I mean, like, ultimately, he is someone that had a very lofty dream and someone that wanted to unify a nation in a way that, even in the context of the records of the Three Kingdoms, would be very, very, like, there's a reason why that is such a backbone to a lot of current media and just, like, a narrative that is told, because of the way that there is such a humanity to the way it looked at war, basically, and the way that just, like, conflict was created out of this situation. Being very real with oneself, you can't just have him solve the fucking U.S. China, Middle Eastern, Russia.
Yeah.
Like that's not gonna happen. And at the very least, I'm glad the anime is also like, sorry, dog, you did not show up in a time of peace, but we can at least keep that passion and put it somewhere else.
Yeah, I really liked that was that line in episode 2 where he says something like, "Oh, I'm so glad to be in an era of peace" or something, and then the boss looks at him like, the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, I'm very curious, like, when I finally get into it, that how would they talk about, like, this is a character who's based on a historical figure that has been romanticized, and anything from the Three Kingdoms has been romanticized, and at this point even mythologized a lot of times, or just outright, like, not true things at all attached to those stories. Like, if that's going to be, like, touched upon even more, or if it's just going to be a hand wave thing, and that's great. I think that's, like, perfect for the tone of, like, what this show sounds like, and it does not need to comment more on anything else. Like, inherently, if the joke is just, like, okay, here's this silly man that's very displaced from reality, here's, not reality, but, like, from our reality, our current modern-day reality, and he's just trying to adjust and see how, like, those things actually, are beneficial to the modern characters he's surrounded with, as opposed to, he was in war, he's just done the, and, like, just not, just avoiding needing to talk about that. Like, if it's very surface level, I think that, like, is right for, like, this is good, and I'm sure, like, there's a lot of things I have to be careful about. Yeah, but, like, that, yeah. Oh, yeah, and that's good. Like, if there's a balance where it's appropriate, then, like, then like it works.
There is the part where he makes peace and with the indie band that she was up against in the third episode, and then when they're all like, "Oh yeah, no, that was really cool of you to figure things out amicably," and he just goes like, "Well, I'm just happy that we're in a peaceful time now, because if it was back in my time, I would have had to cut their heads off and show them off on stage."
Yeah.
God.
No, he's just like, real talk, if I gotta throw hands, I'm gonna throw hands.
That's good.
I mean, hey, he lived in a time of war. He literally in a time of, like, just...
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Which also, like, again, because of the fact that it's literally not that, he does have these moments of just, like, I was so wrapped up in my, like, focus as a tactician that what I assumed was going to be just another party was actually a celebration of men who were going to lose their lives, and I wasn't there in the moment, only in the aftermath. So, in that episode, he's like, "Oh, make something out of nothing. We'll pretend that there's an issue, but actually, like, we planned for this timing." But then also, like, looks at that, or talks to the boss and says, like, sometimes it's like, even the small things you'll learn to appreciate. And I think that really, I don't know, again, it just makes Kongming a cool guy, and this whole anime is just about, what if you were friends with Kongming? And it's like, I would love that.
Perfect idealization. Yeah, this is the perfect thing to ask.
Kongming would get me a job,
everyone should ask.
make me a streamer, and I would feel very happy about myself.
It really struck me, like, the power of someone with extreme confidence and no mental illness. Just, what could he do? Anything.
He could fix me.
he could fix anything. Yeah, it's a good fucking show. Highly recommend it. Fantastic opening, as we hinted at.
The ED
really
also
great
rocks
stuff.
because it's fucking Kibun JoJo.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I showed it to a few friends, and, like, as soon as they hear, like, one of them was on the call, and they were just like, "Oh shit!" And I'm just like, "Yep."
God.
And also, get the OP, same BPM as Danza Kuduro.
Yes. I'm going to move on to the next thing, not to keep going on comedy, but the thing I really liked about, like, it, as you said, like, an awareness of the music industry, I also just liked the little bit they talked about with the BPM, right? Like, that's just that one-off talking. it reminded me of my favorite parts of Monogatari are when they explain some insane, like, specific thing that's common knowledge for anyone who knows something about this thing or whatever, like, very casually. And it's really interesting to see.
Yeah.
Like,
no, like,
oh, right. Yeah, like how BPM works.
fucking the time that I've just become a regular at a bar, I've realized, no, I can't be a bartender because I don't know how to set the vibe of a playlist. And that is so crucial to that kind of, like, knowing how to set a proper vibe is so crucial to the entertainment district, to the entertainment business overall. So, like, yeah, they well done research.
Yeah. Elvie, speaking of well done research,
Yes.
well done making it through Platinum End. I'm sorry I made put you off last time talking about it, but
It's fine.
it is over.
It's over.
You saw it through.
I'm more distant from it. I'm less angry about it. I'm still very angry at this series existing at all. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in recent years. Like, legitimately, I'm not. I probably have said things about that in, like, other things. I probably have said that to describe Geki Doll. Like, you know, Geki Doll was really bad. Like, you know,
Geki Doll.
yeah, but this was really bad. Like, you know, and Geki Doll was coming from a place of, like, they were trying to make something new and original, and I think Geki Doll was a result of, like, all these horrible, like, just horrible mismanagement and just hastiness, you know, just overall the clear evidence that here's an idea that we did not take the time to think about and, like, you know, meditate on. Platinum End is the product of, like, a writer you should like, you know, like a pair of creators you should trust. Well, I'm not gonna put it on and I keep mixing up their names because let me double check because their names sound similar. I'm not gonna put it on Obata, who is simply Obata, who is simply drawn this series, which, again, I don't know how much of his involvement is when he writes, you know, like when it came to things like Death Note, etc. But the duo of Sugumi Oba and Takashi Obata, who, again, famously have worked together for both Death Note and Bakuman together, you know, like, they've consistently worked together. And then they come up with this. This is their most recent thing in between all that, you know, after all of that. And it's just, like, you would think, like, with that, like, history of work, it's like, oh, okay, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be something solid. It's not. It's not good at all. It's far worse than bad somehow. Like, it's just, you know, and again, just to reiterate a quick summation of what the premise of the series is, it's a death game series. It is a death game series where a bunch of these people are drawn to it, like, unknowingly, because they are all, like, in, and again, where a lot of these death game things, like, seem to revolve around people with, like, horrible issues going on. You know, the main character who was about to kill himself, he's stopped by an angel, and that's how he gets tied in. You know, all the contestants of this death game have, like, some sort of angel side character that helps him on their thing, and they all get, like, these powers where they control these arrows either to, like, mind control someone or hurt someone, you know. And it's a poorly designed, I don't know, it's a poorly designed death game. It's not thought out. All the powers over what the contestants can do can keep changing. They're not consistent. The first half of the series, and to reiterate, the series has 24-ass episodes somehow just given to it when other series should deserve far more, and then this series got 24 episodes had to do it. So yeah, the first half was very different from the second half, which ultimately I felt like the second half was stronger, but still fucking sucked. And actually focused more on the deck game aspect, and the first one felt more like them trying to recreate the mystery thing they were doing with Death Note, and that failed too. But all in all, it sucks. Like, every character was very shallow, felt like a very bad archetype. I felt like there were so many things to the series that was making fun of mental illness, and that was, like, the worst thing about it, where, you know, you kind of have the character of the day, you know, kind of like framed like a monster of the week thing, where, like, you know, the main characters are trying to figure out who are the other candidates of this death game. We have to get them before they get us, right? You know, one of the characters was born in, like, an abusive, fucked up, like, household. Like, you know, his appearance is not great. Like, you know, he admittedly doesn't look good. He is ugly. And there's a whole thing where he does bad things because of that. Like, he gets, at some point, like, he's able to get plastic surgery, but he still continues to have, like, all these insecurities. And I just felt like the way they framed that story was just messed up and really put, like, you know, like, real people in a situation like that in a bad light, even though it was trying to, like, pose, like, present a sympathetic story, being like, yeah, society did this to him, etc. But it was still, like, they made this character look bad. They made this character, like, look awful. And the series does that with all these other characters who, like, clearly are supposed to be stand-ins for various forms of, like, mental illness or deviancy. The most deranged thing that has happened was, like, one character basically invented COVID. And not just, and I know that's, like, I'm not saying that literally, but it was just like, you basically invented COVID then. But you're just saying that with the times, like, we were in a pandemic, and she basically just, like, she basically invented this airborne pathogen that will just kill everyone, just because why not? But yeah, just tons of characters like that. Characters that felt like awful stereotypes and very shallow, like, different variations of the Joker, essentially, that just were, like, crazy because they were crazy. This, like, felt like, there was just no thought put into the series at all. Even worse, like, the way it ended, the way the Platinum ended, entirely banked on, you know, to kind of link back to what happened with Maji Record. It did far worse than that. This was like this is a nihilistic series from had to, you know, like, ground up to the finish. Like, I am someone who's, like, an optimistic person, and I'm just very, like, anti-nihilist. I am just very much, like, not about, like, that kind of, like, energy. I'm like, come on, you know, that's just like to my core. Like, I can't agree with that stuff and can't have a trouble, like, processing a perspective like that. And so then watching something like this that I realized slowly was, like, going in a direction was like, ooh, okay. So that's kind of also where I'm coming from. But the way it ends is that, so they're competing in this death game because whoever wins will become the next god. Like, just God, I guess.
Right.
And that's why there's angels. Like, there's all this Catholic imagery that they just kind of, like,
Definitely.
sure, like, there's all this Catholic energy, like, but also it manages to be, like, a militant atheist show at the same time. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, at some point
Death
there's, like,
Note again. That's very
yeah, it's just like, what? It's one of the, at some point they reveal the real intent. So the first arc, they get rid of, like, okay, the worst person. They get rid of, like, someone who seems to be the antagonist trying to kill everyone, because the core issue is, like, they were not just trying to, like, get rid of the contestants, but they were just trying to hurt, like, regular people, like, who are not involved in the game whatsoever. So, like, okay, they dealt with that issue, whatever. First arc. Second arc, they discover, there's, like, the ramifications that they find out there's, like, kids who are death candidates, so that was, like, weird. And then they meanwhile find, one of the main antagonists for this arc was this intelligent, like, quote-unquote, intelligent, like, professor, academic person, who turns out to be someone who's, like, another person trying to sabotage the game, and it's going to involve, like, other people, not, you know, all that. So he's, like, the antagonist. And he's just, like, a walking stereotype of, like, the atheism subreddit. Because every time he shows in the episode, like, he's just ranting about, like, you know, like, God is dead, or something, you know, something like that. And, like, God, like, that was most of the series. That's the problem. Like, every episode felt like it was just, you know, we have this character that's, like, a stereotype, and then they're just expositing out, like a rant. They're just going on a tangent. That is literally every episode. It really felt like the worst parts of the second half of Death Note, where that's just kind of what the series, like, fell into, because
I was going to compare it to
so,
that.
like,
yeah,
you know,
just,
once the
like,
more interesting characters are gone, which similar thing has happened here. Like, the first half of the series had, like, they were, like, my favorite characters, because they're the most normal people in the series, who are very much just like, oh, okay, my best way to describe them is they were basically like Junpei and from Persona and Hanukkah. I was like, wow, that's great, I love it. And then he just dies because he was trying to sacrifice himself for other people or something that, like, to that effect, and it was all futile anyway, as I will get into. But it just got worse from there. It just got worse. But yeah, every episode felt like a mouthpiece for Sugumi Oba to just rant how he fucking hates everyone and is spiteful of his fans, I guess. It just felt like that. And the way it fucking ends is that the person who gets the god throne, who gets the god title, is the suicidal teenager. And he just ends up, like, realizing, he's still depressed, though, as God, and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. So he decides to get rid of his, like, existence. It's like, oh, okay, that's kind of, like,
What are
normal.
you saying? Yeah, again, a lot of questionable statements by the implications of a lot of actions of these characters here. Like, okay, ugly people are just doomed to do evil things because they're ugly, and people who are suicidal are, like, just gonna be that way. We can't do anything about saving it, whatever. And in doing so, like, he ends up, like, also, as God, he ended up erasing heaven. So all the angels are like, damn,
Oops.
okay, I guess, yeah. And then, by doing that, the world, like, falls apart. People, like, get raptured. The world ends, and that's the ending. The ending is the world ends. And it all, like, people, like, are just fading away, disappearing into nothingness. And, like, literally the last shot is, like, Earth, like, collapsing into darkness. And there's no more sound. And there's no one to speak dialogue. So it's just a caption. And it's like, what was the point of this series?
It just feels like I realize there are a lot of people drawing similar comparisons in the modern era, but
It was just a big fuck you series. It's just like, what are you doing?
I can think
It sounds
of,
like the problems.
I can think of two specific pieces of media, Japanese media, where the ending more or less is the world kind of gets fucked up and we just have to sit with that. One of them is by the guy that is now making the new Ultraman movie.
Uh-huh.
The other one is by the guy that got his series then adapted by Masaki Yuasa.
Uh-huh.
And this just feels like an attempt to go for a Devilman or for a End of Evangelion, and it just from me hearing it just falls so flat.
Yeah, it's oh god, it's like not even the premise of one, okay, here's a death game, but like the rules of the death game made no sense. They kept making up shit every episode. But just at its like core facet, like what it was trying to say just sucks too. It was very much like I'm commenting on society every episode. Here's a core issue I'm gonna explore. And then and then it didn't matter then because everyone dies at the end. Not even dies. Everyone just like existence was annihilated. Like it was just, like laughing. It was so stupid.
It strikes me as a combination of the type of like worldview you would see during Cold War literature.
Yeah.
Of like this, like, oh, that's just what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like this just nihilistic hopelessness born from propaganda and stuff. And also a combination of the up its own acidness of Danganronpa V3.
Right.
Where you are like saying that the people who are consuming this, like, this is what you want, you sick fucks, right? Like, that type of...
I don't know what's going...
Like...
Right. I don't know, like, what's going on in the head of the writer, or, like, like, I don't know, what is this? This is a post-Death Note, like, disdain for your fans. Like, and I don't want to assume badly. Again, like, I don't know much about, Tsugumi Oba, to be quite honest, but there were also, yeah, like I said, there were a lot of weird viewpoints in this series that felt like it was tapping upon like very problematic stuff and problematic socio-political topics that are very current with Japan right now. Again, like stuff regarding mental illness and just marginalized groups in general. Like, even though it was trying to like explore like, hey, we have all these problems in society, but it was making light of it. It was like presenting them in a way that was not respectful at all. Just everything about this production was just like, just bad. It also was animation quality fucking sucked too. Like everything was bad. Everything was bad, and you got 24 episodes for it. You just sucks. It just sucks. Really bad show. That said. Takeshi Abada is working on something else right now, which I'm probably gonna read this. Which I think it was called it's like a manga, Shoha Shoten. Nothing to do with Oba right now, so thank God this man is free to do his beautiful photorealistic art somewhere else, somewhere more lighthearted, back to like Bakuman vibes. Yeah, and it seems to be this manga about like these two teenage boys that want to be a comedy act, and they're doing comedy, so that seems fun. It seems like it's something that's not at all licensed. Yeah, I just seen people talk about it. Like, I've seen people reference this manga because of Platinum End's like horrible, dismal thing. Like, hey, if you like the artist, at least you could go check this out.
So that's something to look into. But Jesus Christ, this show fucking. I can't even. I have no more words. I'm like slurring.
It's really strange. It's really strange to me that this gets made after that Death Note one
I was
shot,
just gonna
which
say-
had a
which was
different
okay.
view set. Yeah,
No,
Which was
I
like,
thought,
oh, okay.
Yeah, no, like Death Note originally brings up a very solid premise, which ultimately is just like, the society in which someone is able to excel in, if that is the only measure with which you can discern the entirety of your morality, then you have to have a conversation about that system and what exactly is important. Because,
Yeah.
it's not just like, oh, Light's fucking inherently whatever. Literally bored from the fact that he's too good at shit, so then he questions, can I play God?
Right.
And a lot of that is like based on like, oh, if I kill people from the prison, then that's fine because they are bad. They are intrinsically bad. If I like, it is such a level of like meritocracy and black and white morality that would come from a high schooler on the honor roll, kind of just waiting for the chance to like find something different. Like the equivalent would have been go to America for college and then like get drunk at a bender and then fucking find a Ben Shapiro talk.
Right. Right.
The good end of Light Yagami. But not like with the one shot, it definitely then just presented something different where it's like, that same it gave thought to, all right, if we bring things up to speed, what are things going to look like? What would that kind of story look like? And I think presents it, for the most part, pretty well. Like, still a tinge of, like, nihilism, if only for the fact that it really wants to hammer in nobody can escape from death. Mm-hmm. But
there was an aspect to that where it was very self-aware too. I think it was very aware of like also what Death Note was to people.
Yeah.
And I think it did definitely poke fun at this. Platinum had no self-awareness. Like I legitimately feel like everything that has happened in the show was like deliberate and intentional, and someone thought, yeah, this is good, this is deep, this works. Despite the fact that this felt like a prototype to probably would have been dead. It felt like the reverse. Like what happened? This is like a regression. It definitely felt very boilerplate in terms of like I'm just throwing things out there, and it was just wild.
Not to project my ideas on or anything, but like really the vibe that I get from what you've said is what I was saying earlier, where they make a pitch, and then they're just like, well, I have to run with this because I'm the Death Note guy. And I don't actually have an interest in expressing anything meaningful with this. I'm just going to go on whatever impulse I have in my head at the moment and express that, which would reflect in the modern issues you say it talks about to an extent, but not in any meaningful way, just as like a passing thought. Well, this doesn't affect me, like a light, kind of like Yagami. Yeah. Like, this is outside of my worldview, so it doesn't even exist. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right. I'm
going to look at it through the specific lens.
Like just more detached from it. It's like I want to see it in two. So there's two different things. There's two different ways I can see this personally. This is a series that just sucks. It just fucking sucks. Or this is a very long game troll, and I think that's brilliant. Like like holy shit.
You really think so?
No. I'm not saying either is correct. The former might be unfortunately the truth. That it just sucks. There was just no thought put into this, and that man has like some problematic viewpoints that need to be like he needs to meditate. He needs to look into himself and rethink what you're thinking about people. But if this was some strange, stretched out, deliberate attempt at making fun of that mindset, incredible, genius, 11 out of 10. Like, I sadly, I don't think that's the truth. Oh no. Oh gosh.
Depressing.
It was depressing. But right, I like to, but to talk, but to like, as we were talking about Magia Record earlier, like that's the same issue as that. It's like, why did it go that direction? But this very much is like the worser example of it. Like it just fully was that.
More like crap and amend.
Oh. You put more thought than he did in the whole series into that one joke.
Right.
did.
They don't even explain the title. They don't even explain the title. No one knows what the title means.
It sounds cool.
It sounds cool. Yeah, it was like the title. They came up with the title first, or they came up with it last. There's no way it came up in between. Yeah, I'm looking forward to
damn.
better things after this. It's
Yeah, we're free now.
Please give yourself
What was I-
something good to
Oh,
look forward to.
I am watching Reversed Isekai Man. I'm looking
Okay,
forward to
we're
that.
safe. We're safe.
Hey,
know,
it'll be good.
No doubt, there actually is a lot that's pretty good this season.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
you have a whole
watched a
list.
lot.
You have
I
a whole list.
have
What have you
watched-
watched so far, Maverick?
I have watched 14 different shows.
Jeez Louise.
And it is surprising that they are actually, like, pretty solid.
Yeah, go down the list for us.
Yeah, do you want to tell us about this? Because I'm interested in about half of these, I'd say. And I'm sure that there's someone else who would cover the other half of interest out there in the world.
Oh, man. Let me see. Where to
you tell-
start? Or, you know...
Could you tell me about Birdie Wing? I wanted to kind of hear about that.
Oh my god,
Unless you have
Birdie
a better
Wing
idea.
is off the shits in a way that I really enjoy. So, it takes place in, I want to say, an alternate reality Europe.
Okay.
And specifically in a Europe where there is this underground golf, like, not blood sport, but just like, golf is the thing that is just very much on everyone's mind. And it's enough that there's an underground scene for it. So we follow this one character, Eve, who is just phenomenal with her swing, and just has like so much power to her play that, you know, she'll make money for her caretaker, the person who's like helped her out in what I assume is a very troubled past. And, you know, she'll go to these underground golf games where it's like, bet you this much money that you can play me in this hole while the trains are coming in and out, and that you can't make this hole. She makes the hole, because of course she does. She has her special techniques, the rainbow bullets. That are her fucking, like, powers. Her special golf powers. And in that first episode, where she's gonna go just, like, hustle people at, like, an official court, or at an official pitch, just to, like, get some extra cash. And somebody comes by to, like, play her because they see her, and she's like, okay, how much do you want to pay for this? And the lady's like, oh, I'm not going to pay you. That would be a, you know, golf is a sacred sport, so that would just be blasphemous. And this is Aoi Amawashi, the, like, a character from Japan who just is, like, the prodigy of two other golfers, and is like, you know, your golf is fun. Her whole bit is like, she loves to play golf. Nothing can throw her off. So, like, her smiles are genuine, but it'll fuck you up the fact that she is kicking your ass and having fun with it. She also has a little Pac-Man on her golf ball,
Good.
which is very good. She's like, Pakun, do this for me. And then she takes out a really big driver and just fucking hits a ball about the same distance as Eve. And they're like, ah, shit. All right, you want to go like this? And so they at least play one hole, and they're both like, they're kind of gay for each other already. Not
Hell
gonna
yeah.
lie. Spring 2022, it sees women
It's for the
loving
women.
and
For the girls, yeah.
honestly, it's for the girls.
Girl season.
Girl season. And by the end of that episode, Eve basically goes to, like, the golf yakuza and is like, all right, you need to give me an in for whatever tournament Aoi is playing, and, like, sure, I'll be indebted to you or whatever, but just give me that much. We'll figure it out. And so whatever's coming up next, Aoi and Eve are in the same tournament now. Gonna see where this goes, but it is fucking wild. It makes me care about golf. And
That's quite a feat.
It is.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, the best way to do it is to just have this very fucking shonen aspect to it. Just like go off the fucking rails with the premise of golf is the most important thing in the world right now. Everybody loves golf. People are so nuts about golf that they're going to do underground sports betting to make sure that golf is like their lifeblood. And I'm going to say, like, I think its characterization is also just charming in that kind of an aesthetic. Because it's like, I want to see your golf. What's your golf like? And it's like, sure, fuck it. Like, you're going to do Mario golf shit on a very decent production budget. I'm set.
That's all we need.
Literally all we
Sounds
need.
pretty good. I'll definitely check that out. Then, because I wanted to hear your mark of approval. I want to see if either you or Elvie were gonna watch it, basically, and then I was going to go from there.
Yeah, no. Totally thought it was fine. And, you know, on that similar subject, the, oh, am I seeing an appeal for Aharen-san?
Yeah.
Aharen-san...
She's small.
She's so
She's
small?
very small, yeah.
So it is of this, not genre, but just like this trend of high school comedy where it's two desk mates messing around. You have your Tonari no Seki-kun. What is it? Tanaka-san is always listless. Is the other one I can think of.
Mm-hmm. But there's
This
an
one-
aspect you know when I see this, you know, and it looks cute otherwise, but it still seems like it fits the vein of like POV your high school girlfriend fantasy thing, you know? What I'm
Oh, no
talking-
POV. No POV.
No POV.
Yeah,
They actually,
no POV in this one.
there's actually characters. There's a
there is enough of a character.
okay. She is not just a fetish.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Fucking... Yeah, no, Aharan-san sure has two characters. And you have Raido, literally just one name, Raido. Who
Okay.
is, like, the thing I'll say about Aharan-san is that it is very cute and definitely knows what niche it wants to play in. It is mid in the positive way that I can say something is like
Okay.
a 7 out of 10.
All right.
Like,
It's good mid.
I was describing it before. The soul's got to have good mid. Hazel, 2022. But I had talked about this before recording. Like, I found out that this fucking is on Fridays, and I'm like, this is a Saturday morning show. This is a show that I put on when I know that I just don't have anything to do in the morning. Because that's the role of, that's just its vibe. That's just the way that it actually meters out its comedy. Because here, Raido, whose whole bit is, my eyes are kind of pushed in, so I kind of look like I'm always frowning.
Oh.
That's his whole bit.
Uh-huh. He just looks sad.
Take the thing that made fucking Ryu from Toradora, lessen it, at least enough to the point where it's like, okay, we can take a comedy bit out of this. And just put him next to the most neutral, like the most stone-faced girl who also just has the quietest voice. Well, shit. How do I get closer to you? I'll lean in, I guess. Or just break the barrier of, like, social, or of just, like, personal space. So I can actually just, like, hang out with you. And that's kind of the through line of the first episode, where it's, like, these very well done shots of, like, Aharen just smallest mouth trying to say something, but no sound coming out. And it's like, all right, that's pretty funny. And, you know, you get, like, the, oh, this is my voice. I'm a very neutral, flat tone character. which apparently 3 fucking Seiyu do. I thought that they were all one person that did that.
No, I would say there is more than that.
There's a whole
even.
market. Which I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? Because it's...
Like, what are you getting out of...
It's the fact that this Aharen-san is also in Shikimori is not just a cutie.
Yeah.
In another character, kind of. Like, that vocal flavor, or that vocal cadence, pops up so much now that I'm just like... I had to look it up, because I'm like, oh no, there are 3 different voice actors that I can think of that do this kind of a bit. What the fuck? But, no, then it's like, oh, you just have to, like, get close to me. Oh, sure, I'll just, like, hop on your back or whatever. Or, like, oh, let's try, like, some weird, like, kinetic reverberation, because that's how sound works. Cut to 3 separate instances of Aharen just headbutting Raido. It's dumb. It's definitely the example of we're going to have this one joke and write it for the duration of the season. But there's at least enough there that I'm not, like, bored by it yet.
Mm-hmm.
The most recent episode, or the one before this week, introduced another character who was, like, Aharen's, like, best friend, I want to say, like, in middle school.
Right.
It's like, oh, I can't believe you're hanging out with Raido. He's so scary. I'm going to save you, but I'm also so scared, so I'm going to be far away. Ah. It is inoffensive.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely just an inoffensive series. And sometimes it's what you need.
Yeah. Good mid.
Good mid. Anything else that, like, for now?
Let me look at this. Yeah, I'm looking. So, I mean, well, no, I've watched that one too, so we'll keep that. Well, I was going to ask, actually, you mentioned it. Let's talk about I watched Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie. Is there only one episode out, or did a second one come out?
Right now, only one episode.
Is that the one with the girlfriend who's like...
Pink. Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, that's somehow her flaw, or like her selling trait for the premise of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all there is to say about it.
Yeah.
What are your impressions on it, Rose?
My impressions on it so far is that it is very one joke.
Yeah.
In a way that I want to see more so I can make a judgment call.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it was like, listen, I can go, this is great. Like, this is good. I love to see a creature of misfortune and have someone who wants to take care of that sort of thing. I can empathize and synergize really with that sort of thing. But it's like, will it go anywhere? Will they, like, be ridiculous like Kaguya is with its bits, right? Like, over the top. Anything. I don't think it has the budget to do anything amazing based on that one episode.
Yeah. I mean, the other part of it, too, is the fact that this is a show where the main characters, Izumi and Shikimori, are just already a couple. So any kind of tension that you would already lean on for a romantic comedy, it's not going that direction. But then it's like, okay, are you going to do anything similar to My Love Story, which all of its comedy was focused on, like, these two dumbasses are in love with each other and they are going to make it everybody's problem. It's not a problem. They're lovely. But here it's like Izumi is just the most accident-prone motherfucker. Yeah, like, he's had terrible luck his entire life. I liked the bit at the beginning where there's just a timer of just like, all right, you're out the door. How long before you fuck yourself up on the way to getting here? Oh, God, brief aside, just another bit in Aharen-san where she's also kind of similar to that, where there's a joke of just like, she comes to school fucking beat up and haggard, and Rhoda's like, what happened? And she's like, I couldn't get my contacts in. So I kind of just had to get to school like this.
Mood.
Like one eye was like covered with like dirt. I kind of just bumped into everything on my way to school. This is a similar thing where like by the end of the episode, a literal like light fixture or like a sign just like breaks and is gonna fall on Izumi before Shikimori just like pushes him aside, and she's just like, what am I gonna do with you? And he's just like, bro.
I think like the aspect of the relationship that could be interesting that they go into is like his issues of self-worth, right? Like that is something to explore in any relationship. I think like how he has problems feeling like it's okay for him to be in a relationship when he has all these issues, when he's like, you know, can't do anything. I think my only problem with that is like there are avenues to explore this in a way that could be like genuinely resonant, but I guess if it's a comedy series they don't want to go too hard in. But like if they would like, hey, what if he had an illness or something, you know, something like that. But I'm going to give it a couple more episodes of chance.
Yeah, it's definitely
'cause
one where it's just like I want to see what else is coming up.
Yeah, definitely. I also the ending's very, very good from an animation standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
I liked it a lot. It's like her doing a rhythm game protecting him from various
Yep.
things or whatever. It looks really cute.
Very well done.
And not just to dominate again, but if you want to talk about Executioner and her way of life.
Oh no, I'm down to talk. I'm down to gab a bit of Executioner.
Yeah, I just watched episode 1 of this today. Did you watch multiple episodes, I
I
think?
did catch up to the recent episode.
Okay. So I've only seen the first episode, but I already really like this. It's very like, if we were to say like the edginess of Platinum End being bad, this is like the type of edgy that's like good to me.
No,
like
It's,
So
how do I put it?
I
Maverick
think
can probably
like
do a good one.
it is helpful to at least start with how this series, the first half of this first episode starts out, where
Yeah, so... No, go ahead. Sorry, I
no sweat. You have this narration of like, you know, I always have this dream that there's something else out there, or that I'm here with my classmates. This dream about like wanting and longing, and that there's just someone there that would make this all perfect. Cut forward to then just like someone, a high schooler getting transported to another world, and is summoned in front of a court while he's like out loud assessing the situation, like, oh, this is one of those things where I'm in another world. Like, the court is examining him and like figuring something out. They kick him out for reasons we don't know, and he is taken in by this person who calls himself a priestess, someone that like works with the local religion, and you know, just like getting him accustomed, and is like, you're gonna have to work, but we can at least give you accommodation. I'll take you to the church. That way we can get things set up. Menno is her name. And along the way, we find out, like, oh, you're a lost one. That's what we refer to the people that come from this alternate world known as Japan. And enough have come by where, in this other world, all the signage is in Japanese, and Japanese is just the language that is spoken. Like, cultural assimilation has happened just with the amount of lost ones that have come over to this other world. And eventually we have this scene in the church where, you know, at first this character thought like, oh, I guess they don't have any cool power, but then Moro's like, Menno's like, try this out, focus on it, figure it out. This guy, what was originally labeled as null, which you thought was like, oh, I guess they don't have a power, turns out, oh, I have the ability to turn something into nothing. Wow, what a powerful thing that I could use
certain
for
magical
my enemies.
index.
Like, I can't wait to use this. Cut to him getting killed. Just stabbed in the brain. Because people that come from, the lost ones that come from Japan are given a power called Pure Concept. A supernatural power that in the past has created horrible disasters for this world. And so these priestesses within their order have executioners, people tasked with killing the lost ones. And there was a second lost one that got taken in with this kid.
And I just really like this notion of an isekai where they immediately go, I fucking hate isekai kids. They come in here and they ruin everything. Like, we just need to get rid of them. Because it's true, like, that's what happens in all of these. And it's like, to look at, like, not a deep one, but like a more politically oriented one of like, what does it mean for these worlds when these people come and just fuck shit up, you know?
yeah.
Like, they just decide on a whim that they're going to do their specific thing and, like, actually analyze what an effect that has on the world.
Yeah, I was mentioning it, like, it is very interesting just looking at the perspective of someone being brought into a world that they had no... or someone being brought into an environment they had no say whether or not they were able to. And on one end, people literally want to kill them, not because of what they themselves have specifically done, but because of the fear of the potential that they have. And then another spectrum that at least sees enough use for the sake of utilization, for the sake of utility, to keep these people around. Because, you know, there have been, like, specific, like, 4 legendary disasters. And we see the glimpse of one of them. Menno bore witness to one of these disasters, which happened from somebody just kind of trying to be like, I don't know what's going on. I just want to get back home. And it is a genuine idea that you definitely have the dipshits that immediately get their heads wrapped in this, like, power fantasy. And at the end of the day, it is still just a teenager with their own, like, complexes that they unfortunately, rather than figure out and come to understand in their own setup, for whatever reason, it gets amplified into an ability that could just ruin the whole damn world. And can have that happen. But then there are other people where it is just full-on panic, and that still just elicits the same result. It's very interesting to see that kind of setup. Also, it's pretty fucking gay.
That's what I was going to go into. It's pretty
reins.
incredible. You love to see it. You love to see a Yuri Isekai. First of all, not enough out there. Basically none. I can't. There are some with elements, but, you know, this is the real deal. I was just posting images like Just Like Me for real. This is how it goes. It's great. It has been a hot minute in general since I've had a Yuri series. That isn't just, you know, high school Yuri, whatever type stuff. You know, like a Princess Principal, if you will. So that's good. I love the imagery that they use in the opening. A lot of, like, you know, people dying and stuff, and knives. Big fan of that, like skeletons. And they got a Millie did it, which is always interesting to see, because I like when anime openings mix it up a little. Like when we watched March Comes In Like a Lion, I love to see Bump of Chicken, even though they do a lot of anime openings, because they are like a different spectrum, and that's how I feel about Millie songs as well. Millie songs are kind of like how I feel about Myth and Roid songs. Sorry to go all anime music on you.
Whoa.
But yeah, I was just thinking that, like, that's interesting. And I hope that the series doesn't go... It seems like it's not like a shield hero or a the Skeleton Knight one that's this season as well. They're not that type of edgy, you
God.
know. They're not. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
To just have the faint of a highlight on Skeleton Knight, I am sure that the comedy it executes is funny. I wanna at least like the character
I am sure
design
as well.
When you start your show with a depiction of sexual assault, that the protagonist is supposed to swoop in with the biggest air quotes that I can put here before anything bad happens. Biggest fucking air quotes I can put there, because trauma is more than just a very poor analogy here, but when you hit a baseball, it is not just the impact of the bat to the ball, it is the premonition of getting up to the bat, practicing the swing, the follow through, and getting to what is after that. It is a series of events that are connected. In a similar way, trauma is that as well. It's lazy writing for trying to, like, establish a grim and gritty scenario for a show that's supposed to be a funny skeleton.
It's just this. It's such a thing these days, specifically between like I say Shield Hero and Skeleton Knight, but it's not just those. Like, it's just those are the ones that get animated, right? Like there are so many. Well, I mean, redo of Healer last season or whatever, 2 seasons ago.
That was 2
like
seasons ago.
there's a million light novels out there that all have the same idea of, well, we have a woman, so we have to put women on our covers for light novels, and
SAO.
the only way I can perceive the world, yeah. Honestly, SAO does it too in season 2 of Sword Online, which I like most of season 2, and then it randomly ends with the Shion, the main female character, like getting in a situation like that, and it's like there's nothing like there are interesting things that can be explored about this type of situation. There are many games and works and other things that have explored this type of thing and treated it with respect.
Yeah, people that would be quick to, like, point a finger or wag a finger at Berserk for similar themes. One, Miura had been on the record as saying, like, oh yeah, that shit that I wrote in the beginning, like, I needed to put something out.
Yeah, it was just peak edgelord. Yeah,
and I regret that, and you can also see his work develop from that. And then two, like,
yeah, absolutely.
As soon as you put thought into it, you see that he is someone that understands the way that trauma works.
Yeah, and that's the difference. Is this is coming from a place of, well, this is what is this creates drama, and it goes into the more, like, you know, society's misogyny and like how women are just seen as this type of thing to do, and like what's a scary thing that could happen to a woman. I guess I'll just put this down. Like,
it's definitely in general too just an issue of just bad storytelling conventions when it comes to you know, prestige television. You know, we mentioned Game of Thrones, for instance, where where a lot of stuff happens, and it's like it had no reason, you know, and it's also, you know, the jokes about
also fetishized
jokes
as
about
well,
HBO and like, oh yeah, they're just gonna put whatever, like it's just lazy, careless storytelling where, like, not realizing, you know, to demonstrate trauma in a story, you don't need to keep showing that stuff, or you don't need to keep resorting to that same tactic, and unfortunately that's sort of, I guess controversy does, you know, pull numbers, unfortunately, and that's the unfortunate reality, right? And undeniably there is that, you know, as you've said, Rose, like undeniably there's misogynists that just eat this shit up, and that's also the other sadder fact that there is just bad people, unfortunately, who think this piece of media is good, or those decisions made in media is good, and for sure, at least there's, you know, the bright side of it is there are people calling that out, and it's like there's like there's an internal amount of media that does not do that. But it's just a shame that when stuff like this does it, right, it's just so it just keeps, you know, it's just rewarded for it, right? It's like, why is this, like, who, you know, and I think too, like, that's the problem too, where, like, again, we were talking about the issue too, I guess, as a bookend when we were complaining about Attack on Titan, I think a lot of that support, unfortunately, does come from people who, like, again, I can't. It's all subjective. I can't just judge people or, like, you know, be elitist and gatekeep what people watch. But I think there generally is an issue too where bad media gets supported by people who don't consume a lot of media. Like, that's just you know, and that's not an issue of intelligence. That's an issue of, like,
Exposure.
or anyone's taste. It's just the issue of also accessibility and, like, just so, you know, if you don't have a wide palette, if you don't, like, watch a lot of things, you don't have, like, a comparison, you don't have, like, a reference or control to compare what is bad to good, right? So, you know, like we were talking about with Attack on Titan, for a lot of people that's probably, like, 1 of 5 anime they watch, so they really unfortunately do not have a reference for things that are better out there, and they're like, okay, I guess I'm accepting this as the standard of what is good, and that's kind of the problem. And we kind of see that too with, like, people I've seen that wanted to justify what Shield Hero done, and it just seems like they don't want, you know, there's something about it where they just have not seen other things that explore similar subject matter and do tackle similar things, but not in the way that it does. There's, like, multiple factors to it, you know. It really is, yeah, it's just a problem. There's bad people that enjoy this shit versus, like, genuinely, I think there's also the wider audience of people who, like, unfortunately don't have sources of reference for what is better out there.
Yeah.
And again, it just falls back into, like, there are just shitty writers out there, unfortunately, getting work, and I'm like, they need to stop. They need to give that to better people. But, like, that's what it comes down to. We need to stop rewarding those people. But yeah, that's really what it is. But it is frustrating. But again, I always think about, like, you know, there's other work out there, you know, and sometimes that method of discovery has to just come naturally.
Like, I remember recommending Kongming to somebody, and the response is like, oh yeah, this does seem fun. I'm kind of wary, though, because it's like, oh man, it's a war general. And it's like, no, understandable that,
Yeah.
you know, given the way that someone would describe it, yeah, you want to be wary of that.
Yeah.
But
it's
also,
thoughtful.
this is a historical figure that has literal records of history, like, attached to them. And for the of a story that is not just celebrated in China, but in Japan and most of Asia recognizes that specific period of history, both in its history, but then also in its, like, narrative fiction. Again, a broad statement of expose yourself to more media so that you're able to develop that palette.
I gotta watch more shit. I don't watch fucking anything.
I was gonna say, John, like, I wanted to talk with you for the last 2 bits of our show, real quick.
I guess so.
If you
yeah,
want.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't.
Because I don't want.
Go
No,
ahead.
dude, I'm saying that because, like, I think we all have collectively read The Thing, that is basically like, go out there and just watch more shit.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, John, you read Goodbye Eri. I also did Fujimoto's one-shot in Shonen Jump last week. Was it last? Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. Time isn't real.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
like
worry
last
about it. No one's gonna
week-ish.
fact check me. But yeah, what did you think of this, John? What did you think? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to be eloquent and speak of things that aren't just I liked it. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, like, for those who might not have read it, like, what is it about?
Okay. All right. So yeah, so Fujimoto, the mangaka of Chainsaw Man and Fire Punch, that you know, we're all so hyped about, who has you know, who's supposedly working on part 2 of Chainsaw Man, instead has been putting out a lot of one-shots, these really lovely one-shots. Most recent one is Goodbye Eri. It's about a young man who is basically just like an amateur filmmaker. His family buys him a phone, and he uses it to record his ailing mother's life up until she passes away. And he made the promise to record her dying, but Instead, he at the last minute he runs away from it, and in the movie, he edits in an explosion. He just edits in the hospital blowing up, and so everyone who watched the movie, because he edits it together and shows it at his school. Everyone that sees the movie is just like, why the hell did you do that? That's insane. Like I was feeling something there, and then you just completely ruined it. And it's except for one girl, Ari, who picks up on his filmmaking and tells him that he needs to watch more movies, he needs to expand his horizons, and they spend time together, and she tells him that he needs to make a movie too. He needs to make another movie. And so the rest of the manga is basically just this collection of scenes of them together, them watching films, them going over things, and it's slowly realizing that Eri is also sick and is also on the way out, and coming to terms with the fact that he's basically going to have to do just what he did with his mother. And it's a story about framing. It's a story about how you want to remember somebody, and how films present ideas, and how important that is for folks to experience those ideas and experience the concept that a film is trying to portray. I thought it was fantastic. It really moved me. I basically woke up one morning, and I think that was the same day that they announced Kingdom Hearts 4. So it was just like, oh,
It was, I think.
So I just woke up and it was just like, oh fuck, they're making another Kingdom Hearts. What the hell? And then, oh god, there's another. Okay, this is a really just my brain just activating very hard as soon as I wake up with just oh god, this is a lot to take in. But I mean, I've been thinking about Goodbye Eri for a while. Something I don't remember exactly who said it. It might have been I think it was a Rada, a rank 10 Yu-Gi-Oh on Twitter. I think he talked a little bit about how obviously Fujimoto has taken a lot of inspiration from film, but throughout his manga work, but this is basically just a movie on paper. Just the way that it's drawn, how movement is being shown by characters being slightly blurry. It's not necessarily movement used with a swoosh or a sound effect. It's more how an amateur film would be. If you're thinking about how if somebody isn't perfectly balanced, or isn't using some kind of tripod or something, you're just holding a phone, you see how video moves, and you can see that in the art, and stuff like that is just so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite part of it, was how that was portrayed. Just really, really interesting examination of, if you want to talk about point of view, that is an interesting way to do point of view. It actually feels like you are seeing through a specific lens, which is, again, the point of the whole thing.
Yeah, it is like you are sitting down and watching this film. You're watching this footage on some screen, whether it be a movie theater screen, or a laptop it's being edited together. And I definitely don't want to spoil the ending, because it is free. You can just go read it on the Shonen Jump app, or the website. But just how it presents the idea of how you remember somebody, it was really moving, just because I don't know, I thought a lot about the people that I've lost in my life, and how it's really easy to, if you have that inkling to want to remember them well, it's really easy to forget the bad parts, and vice versa. Like, it's really easy to just be like,
Yeah.
man, that person was a total ass to me, but you can always remember the good parts. And it really is just all about how you frame things in your mind. And I feel like no matter how you want to do it, it is all valid, because you might want to just remember the good times. You might want to just have these good moments with someone you cared about, or they really might have fucked things up near the end, and you don't want to remember. It's hard for you to remember the good parts, like. And I think about my grandfather who passed away recently, and how like he was just like a huge right-wing Trump supporter, and like total bigot, and very frustrating to talk to, especially in his final years. But then I just think about like how compassionate he was about thing like me growing up, and he helped me out a lot in my life. And it's difficult to remember those good parts, because those bad parts are so fresh and strong in the memory. And it would, if I wanted to sit down and like edit those ideas, and like look at old photos of us together, or just think about those good times, like, yeah, you could kind of change your own mind. But there's the question of if you have to, or if you want to. And you can decide yourself how you want to remember it. And I think that is the main point of Goodbye Eri, is that it is up to you how you want to remember the relationships in your life, and how you want to take them. And it was a very poignant piece of work, in my opinion. It was very good.
I agree.
Yeah.
I liked it. If I had exactly one complaint, it's so minor. This is barely like a sincere, like, genuine complaint. It is that I think his tendency to do Chainsaw Man pacing, as it were. It's not that, but like leaning into the Chainsaw Man absurdity of everything, right? Like, it is expressing these genuine ideas through absurdity and through like extravagance. I think here, where it's like, if he could have just framed the way that they talk about the mom later on, I think even just a little bit differently, I think it would have been perfect. I think that's the only part I take umbrage with, because it's like, oh, she was a TV producer, don't you? Like, that just immediately made me like, oh, this fucking Chainsaw Man shit, like that type of stuff. It's just like, it is his style, and it is what makes him distinct, but it is that type of thing where you sit there and you're like, everything else about this is ridiculous, but it has a sincerity to it, and that just felt like the bridge too far, That's like my only problem I had with it.
I mean, I would say... or go ahead.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
No, the comparisons that I can definitely see, one, the composition of the panels and art themselves, it is very much like reminiscent of Tintin. Fucking recently I found out that there are just a bunch of Tintin comics here that someone left in my apartment. And
All right.
Oh.
I've been reading through a few of them, and it's like, there is... Hergé specifically, like, spoke of himself as just capturing film on, like, paper, with the way that, like, movement, flow, composition, and dialogue are, like, set up. And it really shows here as well, where there are just moments of pause that feel so weighted, for the fact that it very much is this... You figure out the flow of what this comic is supposed to feel, specifically in the fact that it is very much like, I wouldn't be surprised if Fujimoto tried to make this a film at one point, or like, had examples of this coming up, and he very much is a movie guy. Like, this cements
definitely.
the reality that he is someone that very much takes inspiration from cinema and the way that people are affected by cinema, in the same way that a lot of the French New Wave came from just kids figuring out that they could get a handheld camera and just film whatever. This has that same energy of just, you have the apparatus, you just go with it. And like the one quote I saw, or the one panel that I saw so many people resonate with is this scene later on with the dad, where it starts out as like this genuine confrontation between Eri and his father, and then eventually it's just like, all right, cut. Oh my god, did I do all right? Was that okay? Yeah, Dad, that was great. Like it, what like that's another point I want to talk about. But here, like this quote of just like from the dad, to quote a friend of his, creation is all about getting into the audience's problems to make them laugh and cry, right? Well, it wouldn't be fair if creators didn't get hurt too, would it? This like recognition that whatever you put out there in whatever creative space is up for all types of interpretation and all types of criticism, effect. Like it is just there for display. You cannot do anything else but take in the feedback that comes back, and some of that shit will hurt. Look through any YouTube comment space and you will see some fucking dog shit, let me tell you. But from that, there is at least a recognition of like, all right, how did this hit people, and how do I take that for this next thing that I'm gonna do? And the other comparison I had recognized that definitely in like looking through some of these pages, there's so much magic realism associated with the way that Fujimoto just goes throughout their whole style. And to me, this definitely feels the most connected to the ideas of like 100 Years of Solitude, where it is very much a journey through one of the most like difficult things that any person will think about in terms of just the experience of genuine loss, and then also the burden of having to make and create something. Like I would argue two of the biggest struggles that a lot of media also explore, and these things that will always be in like discussion and question, but it is so loose with its form in a way that is very much like repetitive in its nature, but because of the fact that these cycles are so continuous. Goodbye Area is the thing that made me like go watch Everything Everywhere All at Once like the day after, because I'm just like, man, I gotta get out there more.
Yeah.
I want to say as like a final comment on my end, over as someone who's never read like Fujimoto's like longer serial work like Chainsaw Man Fire, but has only been reading these one shots he has been publishing, has been published. This is like a brilliant person, and I think that's like this is outright like genuine. Like I was very confounded by this comic. Goodbye Eri specifically. Almost teared up would Look Back, because Look Back obviously was also resonating with a very real life tragedy that it happened to. But this is clearly someone who has a passion for like various mediums, and the concept of like using the comic format to comment on a different piece of art is a very, very touching like tribute to just the nature and process of art itself. And since you've been describing him as someone who seems well read in film, it's very apparent here. And I don't really have much else to say for this conversation beyond the fact that I want to see more of this person's work. I would love to see this person direct. I think this is someone who has the chops to direct an anime. Like even beyond an anime, this is a very insightful person that and this is probably fresh because I did finally watch the documentary The Illusionist about Satoshi Kon's life recently. This is someone that reminded me a lot of Satoshi Kon in a lot of ways, who similarly also explored and kind of was very meta about themes about the making of art tied with like socio-political issues. But at the same time, it seems like Fujimoto, who's, not to say like this is someone in their shadow, but like this Fujimoto very much did similar things. And that's someone who I can like, at least in my perspective, is someone who likes Kon's work, very much on the same level of like knowing, just knowing what they're doing, knowing what they're talking about, at the same time also being a great artist. I'm just like looking forward to what else this person can do. I don't know if Chainsaw Man will be something for me. I know the anime will be coming out at some point So it's perhaps something like that might make me tap into that. But I felt that Goodbye Era was just very excellent. It was just a very excellent, contained piece that I think a lot of people who work in different mediums should definitely look at, because I think it really looks into and taps into those different mediums to speak on something on a more personal, intimate level, which we have all talked about, which, our memory, our like traumas, and how like that shapes and frames how we think of people and the experiences we had. And that's like beautiful. That's very beautiful. And yeah, just clearly an artist coming from like, it seems like a lot of learned experiences and just respect for different mediums. It creates something like this. And I yeah, like I said, I'm just repeating myself. I just want to see more of this person's work outside of the context of like the serialized stuff they're known for as is, right?
Yeah, it's been making me think of rereading Chainsaw Man, honestly, to an extent. Like, I know I only read it like a half a year ago or something, but it was the type of thing where it's like I want to look at it through the lens of how is this structured from someone who really is into the idea of film and mediums expressing things. I got a lot of that when I read it the first time. I think his confidence in his pacing in general reflects that. Like, being able to deliver all this information in a specific amount of time. But like, I think yeah, I'm curious to see how the anime, which I don't think he has anything to do with, adapts his work.
Right.
And what angle they'll take.
Right, like, just from my...
Because it's very easy to fuck it up.
Right, and my impression of just these one-shots alone, it's very much... This is a story that makes sense because it is in a comic panel-by-panel format. It is important and intrinsic to the narrative.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm sure there will be some interesting differences or technicalities that, like... It could easily be a great anime adaptation, however it may be, but right, for sure, like, adapting to anything to any medium, no matter how like in tune the adaptation is, it definitely displaces the original intentions of why something was made in the original format it is in, from film to comic to film, etc., vice versa. So yeah, it's just very interesting to see where his career will seem to go for him, and I'm glad it seems like someone like this is getting like a lot of attention, and that anime will definitely draw more to his work, and I just look forward to it personally.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we've gone on long enough. I'm not going to drop anything else in. We'll cover some more stuff later. Hopefully it's not too far out of your mind next time, Eric, but I would be interested to hear more about your thoughts on these other 10 series you've watched.
I'll be keeping up with them, so definitely the ones that I haven't gotten to yet, I'll make sure to still watch out for.
And it'll be interesting to see how your opinions on those change or don't from what you initially thought. But yeah, thank you all for joining me. Glad we had a good, nice, good episode. I think this was a good one. Got a lot of discussion in that I felt was very constructive. So giving you some real teacher vibes right now.
So not enough fighting, not enough arguments.
Yeah, not enough murder. Yeah, you need to.
Maybe we gotta change it up. Maybe we gotta
there's not enough waifus in this season.
Hey, come on! What are you talking about? Fucking Shikamori. She's not just a cutie, okay?
We need morning radio show energy where we're just constantly.
We need Discord's adding the fucking soundboard soon.
No.
Oh, finally.
Finally, yeah. Well, you've always wanted. I think what was the hard drive article? Discord announces feature for the least funny guy you.
Right.
Something like that.
It's my time to shine.
No, you're great. No, but thank you all. This is great. We're watching Gun Gale Online, the Sword Art Online alternative spin-off. You can find it on Crunchyroll. We're watching that for next time. It's 12 episodes, right? And then it has a recap in the middle or something, I think. But yeah, I've been watching that. I think it's pretty good so far.
I have also been watching
Um,
it. Yeah, interesting.
yeah, yeah, you like it?
Yeah, so far.
Yeah, I think it's much better than Sword Art Online. I'll
I
say
mean,
that
you
much
know.
for free. You remove Kirito and it becomes a whole different world.
There's specific things it does, and it's already just like, hey, I dig this.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get more into that next time. But for now, thank you all for joining me again, like for real. And thank you all for listening. And we'll see you next time on another episode of Unlimited Railworks. See ya.
時さえ見逃せなくて僕らのハートは焦燥それでもこの距離で歩きたいぬるっとくる君と羽がふわり輪郭をなってて風がさらに出会いに吹き抜けた日どうやら始まったカラフルこの